listeners, and this is Dr. J.
Hey, it's
Hey guys, today we're going to talk about gut health. We're going to talk about why it matters,
it's huge.
what it even is, and a couple things that you can do about it. All right, so let's jump right into it. So, why does gut health matter? Let's start with the bigger picture. So the gut's super involved. There's been a lot of recent research that's come out that tells us that it's involved with a number of different things within our body, and it's probably one of the most important things that we have.
Yeah.
A lot of things that we like to think about. So immune function. Something like 70 or 80% of our immune function is regulated and controlled.
To even think about that, because you think of the immune system as this arbitrary thing that kind of floats all over your body, right? You know, I feel like that's how most people think of it. But 70 to 80% of it is actually derived on the health of your stomach, of your lining.
Right, of your small intestine, of the lining of your gut.
Right.
Their production of antibodies, all kinds of interesting regulating factors. Neurotransmitters are controlled by the small intestine. So even people's general mood is affected by the health of their gut.
It's huge. It's huge. Like if your stomach's upset, right? You're not feeling good. Yeah.
All right, it's going to make you not feel good too.
Yeah.
So people that have chronic mental health issues and things like that usually are going to have some problem with their gut health. Autoimmune conditions, vast majority of those are being linked to an origin somewhere in the gut health realm. Even type 2 diabetes recently, the American Diabetic Association said that everybody that's got type 2 diabetes also has leaky gut syndrome, so they have a gut health condition.
Also, ADHD, ADD,
almost all the autism spectrums are going to have symptoms or problems with leaky gut syndrome. They're more prone to it as well.
And dysbiosis. That just means like it's imbalanced in between the good bacteria, bad bacteria.
Right. It's unhappy. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
Let's see. The control of your systemic or body inflammation is regulated by your gut health. So how much inflammation you feel in your entire body is governed and controlled by how healthy and happy your gut is.
And oftentimes that can be the reason that people, they'll feel great, and then all of a sudden they won't feel great. And they're like, I don't know what happened. Often it can lead back to this.
And why you feel so crummy after you eat some stuff that makes you feel bad? Right? Why your whole body aches? Like, why are my hands sore? Why am I sore everywhere? It's because the inflammation in your entire body just went through the roof because your small intestine and your gut.
And oftentimes you'll even notice this. Like you even know it will come. You're like, oh, whenever I eat this, I'm just going to swell up. Right?
I know I shouldn't be eating this.
Right. That's inflammation. Yeah.
It's telling you probably shouldn't. Right. Your general nutrient absorption is controlled by how healthy the small intestine is. So most of the important nutrients that we get in our diet have to be absorbed or controlled through absorption in our small intestine.
All right.
Different parts of our gut. So if we have a very unhappy, unhealthy gut system, we don't absorb as many of the nutrients that we put in our body.
But that really does make sense, right? Because we're eating food to get nutrients, right, to supply our body. And if what we are using to digest it and to absorb it isn't working properly, then we're not going to absorb those nutrients as well as what we could.
Some recent research is telling us that a lot of our systemic hormone balance is controlled by how happy and healthy our gut is. So a lot of our just general function is regulated by the intestinal system and how it works.
Yeah.
Some of the dysbiosis, like she was talking about, so the buggies not being in balance will definitely affect the way that our brain works. It'll change our cravings. Some of those buggies will actually release chemicals into our bloodstream that tell us that we have to eat that carbohydrate. We have to have those potato chips. We're going to die if we don't have that sugary meal. And so that
I can't live without the pizza.
Right? It has to do with things that are controlling us from our inside. So the little buggies are telling us we got to eat it or we're going to die.
Oh, fun fact. You are more bacteria and fungi than you actually are you.
Yeah.
Right. So every cell contains tens of bacteria
Mhm.
per cell, per every individual cell. So you are actually made up of more bacteria and fungi than you are you, and that can definitely control how you feel and the inflammation that you have.
Right. And that's why people be craving pizza all the time. Because your little bacteria are telling you, oh, we need more
Right? Yeah,
carbs,
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
carbs. So a lot of general things that we're going to think about. So people that are constantly unhealthy. So I'm always catching a cold. I'm always susceptible to the thing that's going around. Joint pains, general fatigue or malaise, brain fog.
And that has to do with the gut-brain axis. And so you may have heard quite a bit about this. There's been more and more research coming out, of course, but the gut-brain axis it's like a super highway in between your brain and your gut. And it just communicates with one another, right?
Mhm.
And there's several different ways it does that. It does it with the vagus nerve, and then it also does it with the signaling of different transmitters like GABA, serotonin. You've probably heard about serotonin in relation to brain activity, but it's actually a lot of it, the majority of it, is really made in your gut.
Mhm.
That feel good, happy feeling, which makes sense because whenever you eat stuff,
You
you're
get happy.
happy. Yeah, same
Ice
thing,
cream.
right?
Uh-huh.
Same thing with GABA, right? So it gives you a calming effect, basically, which also makes sense because whenever you eat, you often feel calmer. Whenever you're anxious, what do you want to do? You want to increase the serotonin. You want to increase the GABA to make you feel better,
Mhm.
and that's kind of how that goes together.
For sure.
Mhm.
So to recap, gut health is super important for just about everything in our lives. Almost every autoimmune condition that's based on autoimmune symptoms is going to be related to how healthy and happy our small intestine is.
Oh, 100% for sure.
Right? And
There's so many things that you can do diet-wise, in order to help mitigate a lot of what's going on with autoimmune issues.
right. Even things like anxiety, depression, those kinds of things, highly affected by our gut health. What schizophrenia was treated by just dietary changes back in the day quite
Mhm.
effectively. And they're coming back around to that, and that they're going to put them on
Yeah,
a more carnivore or low carbohydrate diet, and it
right.
treats most of their symptoms much more
Yeah,
effectively
yeah.
than
If
most of
you
the
want to learn a
medications.
little bit more about that, look into Chris Palmer's book. He's a psychiatrist and he's been treating people with all different kinds of disorders, but specifically bipolar disorder by putting them on a ketogenic diet. So if you're interested in that, Chris Palmer, I believe the book is Book Energy.
There you go. Okay. So what is gut health? You want me to go through the leaky gut kind of analogy that I like to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So leaky gut syndrome, that's the term that we like to use in the medical community for gut dysbiosis. When we're born, our body has, let's take it back. Think of your body as a house, right? So I have a 2-bedroom house. It has lots of bedrooms, a kitchen, shrubs in the front yard, and it's happy and healthy. That's when I'm born, right? So it's a happy, healthy house. The immune system, think of them as my little helpers. They help repair things. So they go around, they fix things around the house, they put out fires, all the different things like that. I have 3 factors that contribute to damage to my house: thoughts, traumas, and toxins. So emotional stresses, physical stresses, different things that are going on in my life emotionally tax my body and cause damage to it. Physical traumas, obviously slips and falls, car accidents, sports injuries, repetitive traumas, all kinds of crazy things that are physically traumatizing to my body.
Mhm.
And then toxins, what I put in my body or on my body. So if I'm
Mm.
around a lot of things that are irritating and causing inflammation, environmental things, I live in the city, so I have a lot of toxins that go in my body on a daily basis. And obviously, the food I eat, if I have particular irritants or reactions to particular foods, my body is going to be more susceptible, and that's going to affect one of these 3 things.
Mhm.
Now, they increase inflammation. We're going to think of that inflammation as a fire in the house somewhere. So if I have a whole lot of trauma. So I fall off a jungle gym and I roll my ankle. The bush in the front yard caught on fire. My immune system is going to show up. It's going to start putting out that fire, repairing, replacing that shrub in the front yard. Now, these three things, or my body's ability to control those inflammations or three things in the beginning, is going to be very high. Like I can do all kinds of stupid stuff. I can do all kinds of damage to my body, and my body is able to accommodate and put out all the fires, really happy and healthy, right?
Think of it like whenever you're a kid, right?
Right. You can do some dumb stuff, and
Right.
your body's just fine. You recover just fine.
Yeah.
In your 20s, you go party and have a good time. You recover. 12 hours later, you're back in school going, yeah, no, I feel fine. So we have this huge capability of being able to take care of those three things. Now, unfortunately, those three things build up over time. And so my body's ability to handle those things and that building up of that inflammatory cascade starts going up. And then unfortunately, as I get older, my ability to handle those things starts going down, right? So my inflammation cascade's going up, my ability to handle that inflammation is going down, and eventually they cross each other. And so at some point, my shrubs are on fire, my top floor is on fire, the kitchen's on fire, my immune system's sitting in the front yard going, I don't know what to do. I can't fix this anymore. And so your body gets in this really big imbalance. We call it leaky gut syndrome. It's where the connections that make up the cells in your small intestine start falling apart.
Yeah, they're called tight junctions,
Mhm.
right?
Right?
Because they're tight.
Right,
Or at
exactly.
least they're supposed to be.
We have to think the highest levels of absorption happen in the small intestine. So very thin layer of cells that are going to hold everything in. And it has little control centers in the corner. These control centers are regulated by our immune system. So I have a little immune system cell that's sitting in the corner, and it's telling the food where it can and cannot come in. It's also giving it a hall pass. So it's giving that piece of food a little hall pass. So as it's going through the bloodstream, the other immune system cells come up and go, hey, who are you? And you go, I got a hall pass. I'm going to the liver so that I can give you some more nutrients, right? As those tight junctions start to break down because our inflammation is just out of control and our body can't control it anymore, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that little regulator in the corner, he can't do his job like he's supposed to. And so we get some food molecules that go right into the bloodstream, unchecked, no hall pass, just sitting, rolling around our bloodstream. Now, our immune system is going to show up and say, hey, where's your hall pass? And they're going to say, I don't have one. And their immune system is going to go into DEFCON 6. It's going to say, oh my gosh, we got to kill everything that looks like this. Unfortunately, we look an awful lot like our food. So a lot of the protein molecules and structures on the outside of our cells look really similar to what we're eating. And this is where we started getting autoimmune conditions. So our immune system just goes haywire, starting to attack everything that looks like that piece of food that went in our body. And that's where we start seeing the leaky gut syndrome. The dysbiosis, the psoriasis, all the autoimmune conditions that come along with it. So that's how the gut health happens. That's how we get to this leaky gut syndrome. So it's going to affect.
And that's also the reason that if you already have one autoimmune disease, you are about 80% likely to get another one as well. And so you've probably known people who not only have one, but they have two or three.
And most of the current research is telling us all of this is based around that leaky gut syndrome. So when we think about the gut health or the microbiome gut health, so what's happening with that leaky gut syndrome, we're going to think our energy feelings, right? So this is base level. This is early in the system. So how much energy do I have? Do I always feel fatigued? Do I always feel really energized and happy? Do I feel good after I eat? Right. So if I eat a meal, do I feel fine afterwards? Am I really lethargic? Does my stomach hurt? Do I have to go to the bathroom a lot? Yeah. Those are all indicators that something's not quite right with our systems. And so our gut biosis is off and it's leading us towards that path of leaky gut syndrome.
Acid reflux as well. Like a lot of people have acid reflux.
Always bloated, cramping,
right? Yeah.
Constantly either constipation or diarrhea back and forth. Those are indications of that first gut dysbiosis. So we're talking pre-leaky gut syndrome. This is where all indicators that we're going to see on that path. General food intolerances that you never had. So I never had a problem eating tomatoes until I turned 25. Right now, every time I eat tomatoes, I get really bad indigestion. My stomach hurts. I'm sitting on the potty for hours. Like, what's going on? Why can't I eat tomatoes all of a sudden? Probably had a low level irritation to it. Now, the good gut bacteria that used to take care of it for you, they're not doing their job anymore. They're outnumbered by the bad gut bacteria. They can't manage that protein structure anymore. And so your immune system's having to react to it. And that's where we're starting to get more irritation.
Yeah. And also, so what will happen is once your body is triggered to something, it always has that trigger. It always has it. Right. So at any point in time, because you get a new gut lining every 3 to 5 days. It's kind of crazy to think about that, but your body, because the gut lining is so important, right? Because if you don't have a good gut lining, it's basically like you're starving because you can't get the proper nutrients in, right? So it's really important for your body. So it redoes it every 3 to 5 days. But here's the thing, right? So since it's redoing it every 3 to 5 days, let's say you've been doing really, really great and life is good and you're feeling great, but then you went on vacation for about 2 weeks, right? And then you ate all the things and all the stuff, da 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 da, right? Whenever you put something in your body that it has already been triggered to, it is going to flare back up again.
Instantly.
Yes, instantly. So you kind of have to keep that in mind that every 3 to 5 days, it's getting renewed. And so it will go up and down if you are not consistent.
Yeah. I mean, instantly in the moment that it touches your mouth, your immune system runs through a cascade of inflammation preparation. Your body gets ready. It starts to vasoconstrict. It starts pumping your heart faster. It starts getting ready the second that it goes into your mouth.
Yeah.
Because it knows that the inflammation is coming and it's prepping for that inflammation. It's amazing how quickly the body knows that it's going to have this reaction to it and how little we pay attention to our own bodies. Right? So what can you do naturally to help your gut health, right? So we're thinking, again, hopefully we're not already off the rails into the leaky gut syndrome and everything else. Basic gut biome health. So we're thinking like probiotics and prebiotics.
Yeah.
Right. So some supplementation with some very high quality probiotics and prebiotics. We're going to think the ones that are probably in the refrigerator aisle are going to be the best ones for that. Right.
Yeah. Go with those.
High counts that have they have to be refrigerated because they are the good, healthy live bacteria for us.
In this sector, you really do get what you pay for. So like if it's something that you are concerned with, that you are having issues with, consider it like paying for medication. You know, pay for it, get the good ones.
Right. And some people do really good with some extra fiber in their diet. It helps some of their bacteria. Some people don't do good with it. So you really have to pay attention to that one. There's definitely two categories of folks. Category of folks that really do well with vegetables and category of folks that do not do well with vegetables.
Right. But it really depends the spectrum that you're on and how long you've had issues going on as well to how much fiber is going to work for you. Because for some people, it really is more of an irritant than it does benefit.
Right. And if you don't like taking pills, you don't want to take a prebiotic or probiotic, you can get some natural versions of it. So you're going to want some fermented things. We're going to think like sauerkraut, pickles, those kinds of things.
Health food stores, they always have these. They're in the refrigerated section.
Kefir.
Kefir?
Different yogurts, but we want the unpasteurized ones so that it still has the live strains.
Or at least not ultra pasteurized. You want to avoid that one because you want to make sure that what you're eating is actually alive, because the point is to put in so much good bacteria that it basically crowds out the bad bacteria. Right?
Some natural prebiotics. We're going to think things like onions and garlic and asparagus, some of those really good healthy foods that we think of. Those are good prebiotics. They help us with digestion.
Green leafy things as well.
Right. Let's see. A lot of different cultures. We're going to think of lots of cultures have those fermented products, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to think all the East Asians, lots of their foods are fermented on a regular basis. It's good preservation, but it's also healthy for us. Right. And so those are different things that we're going to think of. So explore some different food choices
Okay.
and different genres of food.
They
That's
have a
going to be
whole
really
bunch of
good,
stuff that, yeah,
right?
like sauerkrauts. They even have like fermented beets and carrots.
Mm-hmm.
You can,
Kimchi, right?
right.
So I think kimchi
I
is
love
right.
kimchi, but you know what? Like some people don't like. It's not for everybody.
Can't do the fermented fish.
Yeah, I mean, I
Mhm.
love it,
Yeah,
but
for sure. Think of the other side of the coin. So, what are some of the things that are bad for us? Alcohol is definitely not going to be the best bet. It does some damage to us every time it goes in. It is a poison to us, and so that's why our body reacts so
it
violently to high levels
it
of it.
is, and more research is coming out against the idea or the concept that it's actually good for you in any capacity. I would genuinely say more than a drink a week, you are really starting to create a lot of havoc and a lot of damage to your system.
Mhm. Processed sugars, so any of the pure sugar categories are not going to be good for you. They generally cause a pretty instant inflammation cascade within our gut
Yeah.
health, and so we're thinking any of the white sugars, processed
Right.
sugars, even some of the processed foods like highly processed things like white breads and that
hmm
kind of thing are going to be irritating.
And really, what processed means is like you took it from the source,
Yeah,
right? So if it's in the fruit, a lot of people they're okay with that.
yeah, same thing.
In the
Honey or something like
vegetables,
that.
a
Yeah.
lot of people are okay with that. A lot of people do really well with honey, but it's whenever you're taking the sugar out of its source.
hmm Some people have pretty bad reactions to artificial sweeteners.
Yeah,
The research tells us they're not going to kill us, but they definitely do something to us. Right?
yeah.
So,
They're still trying to figure out all the things that it does to
right,
us.
but they're definitely not the best for our gut health. And so,
Uh-huh.
taking in artificial sweeteners on a regular basis is really not the best idea. Same
Right.
thing
So
with
really,
xylitols
like
and all this
really
stuff.
try to
You know.
limit that as much as possible. If you are eating xylitol and monk fruit and all of those other alternatives on a regular basis, I would really recommend cutting that down.
Mhm.
It can also trigger some autoimmune issues. It can interfere with autism as well as ADHD. So,
There seems to be a lot of neurological effects that
mhm.
are linked to long-term uses of those as well. Certain medications, so we're going to think antibiotics and NSAIDs, so things like ibuprofen, right? Ibuprofen, if we take that on a regular basis, is definitely going to lead to a leaky gut syndrome situation. It damages the tight junctions or the connections in those cells pretty
Mhm.
quickly. Same thing with antibiotics; it just decimates your gut bacteria right off the
Well,
bat,
because it kills the good bacteria
and the bad. There we
and the
go.
bad
Yeah, so,
bacteria. It's kind of like throwing a grenade at it, right?
mhm,
It's going to take it out. It's going to take everything out,
right.
though. But the interesting little flip side to that is if you are in a true like dysbiosis situation and it's gone to like DEF CON, like it's awful, then sometimes.
Scorched earth.
Right. Sometimes it's like go on a high dose antibiotic regimen in order to kill everything off because the point of it is that we need to get the bad bacteria out. But if you have so much dysbiosis, um, sometimes like throwing a probiotic at it just isn't going to cut it. It's not even going to touch it. So sometimes you kind of have to do that first, kill it all off, depending on how severe your situation is. For
Mhm.
most people, it's not that way. And then you go ahead and start replacing with all the good stuff.
I mean, even the GIs, so the gastrointestinal doctors are starting to do that, where they just wipe out everything that you have, and then they'll transplant in a healthy gut biome
That's
too.
true. Yeah.
And so they'll take it from a healthy person and they'll put it in you, which
hmm
is really interesting. So,
And that's really crazy because whenever they transplant from a
donor.
donor, I love that. Yeah, from a donor, like so many things change. Like their weight management will often change, their mood will often change, and that just goes to tell you how important your gut health is to everything
Everything, yeah,
else.
exactly. We're thinking about the healing of the lining, right? So if you have chronic irritation to the small intestine or starting to get that leaky gut, things like bone broth, right? So real bone broth supplements, those are very soothing to lining back in there. L-glutamine is a good
Yeah,
supplement
yeah.
that tends to reduce that irritation to it. Zinc, collagen. Collagen goes along with the bone broth. They're usually hand in hand with the
Right.
scenario there. Anti-inflammatory herbs like slippery elm, turmeric, actual mallow root. Those types of
Yeah,
things are
yeah.
very calming and soothing to that small intestine, so that it gives it a chance to rebuild and regenerate itself.
And if you go to your health food store, oftentimes they will have different supplements that you can take to help repair
Already
your
combined together.
right. And it's already kind of all these things are in there together. So,
Mhm.
but you can't just continue to throw a supplement on top
If you're bad.
of your
Bad situations,
right,
yeah.
of a bad situation. So you also have to stop doing the other things, like you have to put down the Coke and the cola. You have to put down the potato chips. Pick up some whole foods as much as possible, and then add this in.
All right. And if you have been struggling for some time, getting some tests done would be beneficial for most of you. We're going to think there's tests for inflammation markers, so different screenings that we can do for inflammatory markers, which to tell us what type of inflammations we have, where they're coming from. Same thing with food sensitivities, so you can do some blood tests for food sensitivities. Now, I'll have a qualifier for
Right,
that.
a little.
So
There's a
if
caveat.
you do have leaky gut syndrome, generally whatever you ate in the last 90 days is going to show up in that food sensitivity test. So it's not the best thing unless we've been eating real clean and we've actually fixed the leaky gut syndrome. It may give you a good starting point to
Yeah.
know what you need to cut out. But after that, once you've cut everything out, you've gotten back to a normal level, then do that food sensitivity test again. Generally, depending on how bad you are, somewhere between 90 and 180 days is what it takes for your immune system to calm down.
Yeah.
And so if you're on this journey or on this path and you made it 60 days in, but you're like, man, I'm really going to have that piece of pizza, reset the clock. All of a sudden you get another 90 days before that inflammation goes down again.
Yeah.
So it's really a tough journey and something that you really have to commit to and stick to if you want to make that change. So definitely getting those checked out would be important for somebody that's been struggling with it or suffering with it for a long period of time. So definitely final thoughts within the gut health categories. It's probably one of the most important things that you can work on. Making sure that you keep it happy and healthy is something that you need to do, what you should do. It's going to prolong your life. It's going to prolong your quality of life. It's going to make everything about you better as long as you pay attention to it. So getting that under control and keeping track of how it works and how it functions is just integral to the systems of life. And so if you have any questions about it, always DM us. You can send us messages through Instagram and Facebook. I'm always answering those. You can leave a comment through here. I'll try and answer those too. So if you have any questions about that, there's different things, support groups, different programs that we can help you with, even some different testing centers that we can hook you up with if you have that interest in mind. But it's been real fun talking about gut health with you. I'd love to talk to you guys later. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.